Welcome to this week's edition of Outdoors Online, a weekly webcast produced by the North Dakota Game and Fish Department. I'm your host, Mike Anderson. My guest this week is Education Coordinator Brian Schaefer. Brian, we're going to talk boat safety today. First of all, how many boats do we have registered, or watercraft do we have registered in the state of North Dakota?
Yeah, we're in our third year of our registration cycle, and we just peaked over 64,000 for this registration cycle. We're down from 2013 when we peaked with just over 69,000 in the state.
Let's talk just simple boating basics. What can people do to stay safer on the water?
Yeah, the big thing is make sure you have all of your safety equipment on board prior to launching your boat. Check the boat and water safety guide that the Game and Fish puts out that clarifies what type of vessel you have and what kind of safety equipment you're required by law to have. And then if you're a new boater, go out with someone who's a little more experienced, learn from some of the basics from them. And we always recommend that new boaters and veteran boaters alike take a boater education course if they haven't done so in the past.
The Missouri River is really busy in the summertime. A lot of smaller lakes are busy, larger lakes are busy. What are some of the problems that we typically run into on some of these busier bodies of water?
Although our number of registered boats are down statewide, we're seeing an increase in paddle sports, stand-up paddle boards, kayaks, canoes, things like that. And our bodies of water just seem to be getting more and more congested every year. So maintaining safe distances from other boaters and just helping out when needed helps out everybody on the water.
There's a lot of jet skis, personal watercrafts out there. What are some of the things that they need to be aware of?
Yeah, personal watercraft. Everyone who's on a personal watercraft, either as a driver or as a passenger, is required to wear a PFD by law. And then there's just a few things that we seem to see over and over every year and have complaints about people jumping wake and being within that 100-foot distance of other boats. So even if you know the other boater, you still can't legally jump their wake. And then just maintaining safe distances from other vessels. You
mentioned paddleboarding, canoeing, kayaking is becoming more popular. What are some of the things they can do to be safer on the water?
Yeah, the big thing there is here in North Dakota, or even during our warmer days, Memorial Day's coming up here pretty quick. In early June, our waters can still be fairly cold. Paddle sports enthusiasts need to be aware of that. Just because it's 70 degrees outside, air temperature, that water could still be in the low to mid 40s, which can lead to some serious situations if you're not prepared for it. So dress for the water temperature, not for the air temperature.
There are some laws out there that need to be followed, Brian, not just suggestions.
Yeah, correct. I would say probably the number one violation we see is not having the proper number of PFDs on board for people in the vessel. It's important to remember that they all need to be Coast Guard approved life jackets, and they need to be properly sized and fitted for each individual on board. Okay,
and if you're 10 and younger, you have to have a life jacket on?
Correct. 10 and under in the state of North Dakota needs to be wearing a PFD that's properly sized and fitted for them.
How about life jackets on paddleboards, canoes, and kayaks?
Yeah, we've seen a surge in that sport growing here in North Dakota, and it's just important for a lot of people who buy them at different stores. They're new to boating, and they don't realize that there are rules and regulations required with that as well. And so it's important to check your boat and water safety guide that the Game and Fish puts out, and it is required to have a PFD on board for everyone in that canoe, kayak, or stand-up paddleboard.
Explain the boat education course offered by the Game and Fish Department.
Yep, we offer 3 different types of boater education: a in-classroom, an online, and then also a take-home version. And anyone who is 12 to 15 years of age who would like to operate a boat of more than 10 horsepower by themselves needs to take one of those 3 types of options of boater ed. And then once you hit 16, it's not required, but we do recommend everyone take boater education.
Okay, and overall, just use common sense when you're out and about.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if you're at the boat ramp on the Missouri River, Lake Metagoshi, any of your busy bodies of water in the summertime. It's important if you see someone struggling to help them out. And I've spent a lot of time on the river this spring, and it seems like that's a very common occurrence for people to see someone needing a little help at the boat ramp or out on the body of water. So.
And when you're getting ready to load or unload your boat, make sure you have everything ready so you're not holding the ramp up.
Yeah, correct. It seems like everything goes pretty smoothly here from what I've seen, but it's important to make sure you have all your coolers and all the kids and everybody ready to go prior to trying to launch that boat, so you're keeping that flow at the boat ramp of people loading and unloading going pretty smoothly.
A lot of good information, Brian. Thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
For a list of all the rules and regulations, pick up a boat and water safety guide or go to the Game and Fish website at gf.nd.gov. For Education Coordinator Brian Schaefer and the rest of the staff here at the Game and Fish Department, thanks for joining us for this week's Outdoors Online. We'll see you again next week.